The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron 868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM. The Living Room, casual conversations on serious topics.
It is currently a couple minutes after 6 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I'm glad to know you're locked on to the True Nation station, WACK 90.1 FM, where we are
culture crazy.
All right. Like at the show on the road, right? First and foremost, let's kick it off as we always do. We must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
Secondly, must say thank you to those that went before us, not just the ancestors, which are the Kalinagos and the Tanos, better known as the Caribs and the Arawaks. But we also say thank you to our brother in music, Tony Prescott, and the P this week stands for?
Listen, paradise, babe. Paradise. Because we have to be living in a paradise. We have to be living in a paradise.
Care to elaborate a little bit, or?
Well, as of midnight, well, not tonight, but a night or two before.
And I'm going to say, if you don't know, let me just clear that up for you. We fondly called the press conferences with the Prime Minister the Keeping Up with the COVIDs. And the season finale took place, I think, 2 weeks ago.
I mean, yeah, you want to say from April 4th, right? We back to normalcy.
And today is April the 5th, for those of you that don't know.
Yeah, so there was a rollback of a considerable number of the restrictions.
Man say considerable, yes.
Well, I mean, you still have to wear a mask in public and that type of thing.
One.
Pretty much certain that, well, they'll lift the safe zone restrictions, right?
You still have one.
Right, you're allowed to travel in your vehicles, your private vehicles, with members of your similar household unmasked, that type of thing. There's traffic. That media I get.
So,
yeah, wait, wear a mask, maintain social distance and sanitize. But it's personal responsibility now.
So we still at one.
Paradise.
So in terms of Trini counting, if you had 10 things and you remove 9, essentially remove all.
All.
Right?
But
so
I doubt anybody looking for a stupid ticket. You'll still get ticketed if you're not wearing a mask in public, that type of thing.
Yeah, very true, very true. So what we are saying is that
you're trying to settle it up.
No. What I'm trying to say basically in a nutshell is that this has gone from a pandemic of professional and government care to one of personal responsibility, which in my view, it should have been from day one.
You know what? We will agree to disagree. While I respect the battle being passed to the individual, in the absence of authoritative instruction and consequence, we are not known for being a people who exercise the best judgment. So, for me, all right, cool. I don't mind that after, certain habits have been established and plain talk bad manners, we have become socialized to managing smaller, intimate personal spaces and social settings, etc. We could say, all right, now, handle your business. Because I will use the opportunity to wipe my foot and hang my hat at the exact same time. I don't know if you noticed, Aaron, but my voice is not its usual melodious self. The harmonies with which it normally resonates is a bit lacking today. And that is because while in the collective celebration of a number of missed birthdays, I frequented what was formerly known as a safe zone. And well, at the time it was still a safe zone. I don't know what it will be called. I guess it's a regular zone now. But anyway.
Alignment spot.
Yeah. And while I partook of a couple imbibations, I do admit I had a bit of a sip. Responsibly, of course. My throat a little scratchy because not the consumptions, but because I had to speak more loudly than I've become accustomed to. The house DJ at the venue was a little excited to have, an audience, and he played the music a little louder than was, by about a little, than was allowing from.
A hand small, so.
Well, then put both, because what I mean is we get accustomed to being able to manage, your small space and that type of thing, and it wasn't a nightclub, in terms of just being able to have conversation across the table. You have to speak more loudly than you normally would. And I thought it was just me, but about 10 or 15 minutes into the thing, I see one of them other fellas saying, "Wait, boy, this music too loud, I have to actually shout." And the thing is, it's not that we shout, but you just have to speak a lot more loudly than you become accustomed to. So even these little things are indicating that we're not accustomed to a certain thing anymore. Even though people want it, I don't know how much people are going to be able to handle loudspeaker and the ears ringing the next day. And the thump of the bass line and that type of thing. I'm just saying, take all the time, work your way back into the thing. And I look for this because we should have chosen a table that was outside, so we would not be subject to that volume, and we would have been able to converse comfortably, and I would not be singing this morning like I try to drink all the rum in the people and them bar. So hang in my hat for all the people who miss the birthday celebrations and miss the anniversaries and miss the family get-togethers and the little knockabouts.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's time to make up, but I want to acknowledge that plenty of people sacrifice socially. And I want to wipe a foot on them young boy DJ and them who don't know the right place and time for the right level of volume.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? What going on with you? Your voice is as well modulated as ever. So apparently you didn't take part in any no longer safe zone tips.
Actually, no. I want to say a pleasant good evening going out to the management and staff of a business in Seatree that I would have attended on Saturday.
I'm gonna let me start this thing right. It's been a couple of weeks. We haven't had a conversation.
Yeah.
So what you telling me is you gonna send a special greeting and hello and good evening to people and not say who the people are?
Yeah. They know who they are.
They are to guess themselves.
Yeah, they know who they are.
Well, then if they know who they are, what is the point of saying it in front of us if you're not gonna tell us who they are?
Let's just say they had a bit of a buzz.
Okay. I see what it is you do there. What you do there.
Despite the pending lifting of the safe zone regulations, they still ensured the cleanliness and the safety of the patrons entering the venue.
Right.
And they intend to keep that up.
You know what? Wash your grimy hands before you come in my place. I have no problems with that.
If not wash them, at least sanitize.
Right.
So I want to shout them out for that. And I don't know if to call this the wiping the feet part, but I would implore that the businesses of Trinidad and Tobago do maintain that level of sanitization upon entering. Keep the sinks there. Keep the sanitizer there. Don't let the sanitizing instruments become empty and you don't refill them. Keep that up. Because what I have also noticed is since 2019, usually after Carnival, we'd have the seasonal flu.
Right.
I don't recall us having a seasonal flu in Trinidad and Tobago since 2019. Maybe it's because everybody who got this seasonal flu thought it was COVID. But I'm just saying, the usual seasonal flus have been on a decline. I don't know if it's because of increased cleanliness, or if it's because we took the precaution that when we got said flu, that we thought it was COVID and we took the necessary precautions.
You know, a good measure would be other contagious or communicable diseases that may not necessarily have flu-like symptoms. So we can tell if it's just, better social hygiene overall now.
Yeah. But I must say, this pandemic has brought with us a heightened level of social hygiene. Which
I literally just say that.
I know that. I just...
take the words out of my mouth,
Thank you.
All right.
Some things never change. Anyhow, right? This increased level of social hygiene that is with us, I hope we continue to carry it for 2022 from April the 4th and beyond.
True.
Right? I also want to hang my hat to the West Indies cricket team.
Yes.
The first series victory for a very long time. I don't want to call a date. Next thing you know, I'll call the wrong date.
Yeah. And you and calling wrong names and things. So what I would definitely acknowledge is that it was a fascinating series to watch.
Yes.
It was as poised, as keenly poised on a knife's edge as one could possibly get.
Yeah. I heard numerous complaints about the quality of the pitches during the series. And how from the various media houses, some not in the Caribbean, just saying.
Right.
Yeah, just saying some not in the Caribbean. Even though I would admit, West Indies holding on in the first test to bat out the day, the fifth day. Great test match cricket. For the first time in a long while, I have seen West Indies take 20 wickets to win a match.
So it's not the same pitch. It's not the same pitch that both teams were playing on.
Apparently
it's not the same pitch that both teams were subject to the bounce dropping off and the ball going dead after the same number of overs. It wasn't both teams Anyway.
Again, it's the media houses. Notice I pointed that out.
Yeah, the media heist them.
Right. So, I want to commend the West Indies cricket team, and in particular, I want to shout out to Craig Braffett, Jermaine Blackwood, Kima Roach, our local boy Joshua De Silva.
Yeah, we're Angle
on his maiden test ton.
Who get the man of the match for the last one?
Joshua De Silva.
He get right, yeah.
Yeah, he got it. It warmed my heart. Yeah, boy. It warmed my heart to see West Indies play with such grit and determination.
Concentration.
That as well. Craig Braffett for his brilliant 160 odd in the second match, I think it was. However, I must say to the selectors, there are still some persons on the team which, in my opinion, we need a little bit of changing.
What was particularly funny for me was knowing when you were and were not watching cricket, As soon as you start commenting on WhatsApp, things were happening one way or another. And we actually we use that to our advantage for the last test. So
yeah, because if you all don't know, we are speaking about the age-old remedy that when you change the channel, that's when the wicket is fall. So let's just say a lot of channels were changed.
Yeah.
As
soon as you go in the bathroom or you walk in the kitchen,
something happens.
Yeah. So I give me a step scene for that last test match.
Yeah, and we are, as we always say, we support our local and regional sporting teams till the ship go down. West Indies playing, we watching. Trinidad football playing, we watching. And again, congratulations to the Trinidad and Tobago football team on beating Barbados 9-0 and pulling off the draw with Guyana 1-1 and winning the courts.
And that guy in a game, we could have probably win 3-1.
We should have, you know.
Yeah. But hey, we'll take it.
I hope it's a step in the right direction for our local and regional sporting teams, because I think this was the first time that the Trinidad and Tobago team would have played in front of fans. And that's social pressure. Because you would know, Ricardo, if you go in the stadium to watch a game and the players ain't playing that good, the fans on the back. But when Levi Garcia hit the man, the spanner, it's all ratty ray.
Yeah, but I don't want to hear them thing and then men pass.
Oh, shucks, no, sorry. No, that wasn't Garcia. I think that was Jean-Luc Rochefort.
And men passing ball straight to keeper when there's penalties and things. So I don't hear about no spanner and you can't put it in the corner. Anyway, you know what? You got time for that.
Yeah.
Good, sir. I realize you have a bit of a cough there. Just a gentle reminder. Seasonal allergies are still a thing. Sinus problems are still a thing.
And I'm not going to say not seasonal allergies, call it as they is. Sahara dust is very much a thing.
It is a real thing. I just put it out there.
Because on my drive homes from work, I will admit that I have seen difficulty in driving down the highway. That visibility is clearly lower.
Yeah, there is haze.
Right there, I look out my window on most afternoons when I get home, if not all, and I have difficulty in seeing past the end of my housing development.
Yeah, and he's a man who spent plenty of time looking out at and beyond the neighbors. So I ain't gonna use the M word, but your observation skills have been definitely well practiced. I know you miss me,
Yeah, and we must let you all know that we are back. This is the living room with yours truly, DJ Aaron 868. I'm always great and I'm never late, alongside my bro with no fro,
Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage on the local stage.
And we must apologize for the past couple of weeks for reasons which can be said and can't be said. I think I should be transparent with the listeners here.
Yeah, you know how I feel about transparency.
Right? After the carnival season, which was just a taste, I did not realize how exhausted I was. And I think at some point, along with other things, I just needed a break from everything. And I took a couple of days, that's to myself, and re-energized, rejuvenated, recouped, and I'm back.
Good. And the reason me as an advocate for leaving all the feelings on the floor, it is important considering the number of conversations that we've had about mental health, about holistic well-being, about self-care, etc. I think it is important that we let people know that these are things that we practice as well, deliberately. We don't wait for a breakdown and then spend the time recuperating. We take the time so that we don't break down.
Oh, I will say, I think what was also a hint that I needed that rest was that there was a morning I woke up to go to work and I just didn't have the energy to come off my bed. So you have to look for the signs as well.
Yep. Right? And there was also one of the reasons that I knew I also needed a break was my irritability went up from 7 out of 10 to maybe 7.5.
To 14?
Right. This man say 14, Now I feel if it had gotten to 14 here on, we would not have been on air. We would not have been on air. Just because the other day I spent a lot of energy making sure that I stay, as appropriate and respectable as possible. I'm just saying, this is good Cardo. All I want to see trouble Cardo. But I'm not even joking about this. We are seeing way too many incidences. There's a thing I want to bring up. Just grammatically, of course. incidences versus incidents. Which one is correct grammatically?
Incidents.
But if you have more than what there is an incident, CE, what happens if you have multiple incidents? CIS. But isn't multiple incidences just incidents? Anyway, just a little brain teaser.
Google that, huh?
They were saying just a little brain teaser to let you know that we actually care about what we're saying and how we're saying it. I ain't throwing no big stones, but I'm saying that we take communication seriously. Anyway, moving on. We are seeing several reports repeatedly, almost weekly now, of both genders expressing frustration and inability to cope with relationship changes in hostile and violent and even fatal manners. We are seeing way too many people doing things like, you know what, I want to heavy it down and get graphic, but rope, fire, poison, chop, shoot, listen, people not managing well. And relationships are a key point in which this lack of proper emotional management could express itself. So what I'm saying is, you know what? If you need a breather, take a breather. While you can't expect people to always properly manage all the time. But the fact remains is that they have steps that you could take to not get to a tipping point. I don't want to be the guy to do this, but we saw a man who was at the peak of his career express an emotional and psychological frustration and tipping point on what was probably it would have been the biggest night of his life, the biggest night of his career. He back our fellow professional a slap.
Oh, I thought you were referring to another incident.
Well, I just saying that we're seeing from things that affect your career negatively and your social image negatively to relationships and lives being lost and children being left to fend for themselves or sometimes even being caught up in the fracas and the melee. What I'm saying is you're seeing people struggling to manage. Right? It there. It has no escaping it. And worse yet too, now that we're going to re-engage society in ways that we have not for the past 2 years, you're going to see a lot more friction. You're going to see a lot more excitation points. You're going to see a lot more microaggressions and road rage and those types of things. So let's take all the time and breathe deeply, say your prayers and stay plugged in, because we're back in action and I don't know how much we learned from what it is we went through.
You know, one of the key things which I think as a society we would have missed or not been involved in is social integration over the past 2 years or so. Right? Probably 25 months, let's just say that. A key part of teaching and learning is from social integration. Learning what verbal and non-verbal cues are. Especially the non-verbal. Because you could say something, but your body language says something totally different.
Like them taxi driver would tell a good evening, but the way that they say it does make you wish you'd.
Right? Which is why, personally, I have been a huge advocate for certain conversations that need to be had in person or over the phone. Because you cannot, and I can't stress this enough, you cannot get tone through a WhatsApp message.
You have to use the right emojis, Aaron.
You cannot get tone through a WhatsApp message. This is me knowing you here.
You can get tone, but it is very difficult to do. And it is very easy for the other person to misread it.
Thank you.
Right? I'll get it.
Right?
I like the text.
So, no problem. So, guys, I'm just saying, now we are going to be exposed to people which we have not been exposed to for the past 24 months. We are going to be exposed to situations which some of us, because I'm not going to hide it, some of us have been illegally zesting. We are going to be exposed to situations which we have not been exposed to for the past 24 months. You are going to be exposed, and I'm going to call it as it is. You're going to run into your drunk brethren who you may not have seen drunk for the past 24 months. and you may not be able to handle his load that he's toting. Because let's face it, there are some fellas who had come out for the past 24 months going and be outside this weekend like if they never see outside before. And this is just, again, these are the things you have to be honest with yourself about. If you know, and I'm just using this, if you know you have not consumed liquor, don't go this weekend and act like all the alcohol going on down.
Yeah, it take a run out.
Trust me, it's still there after this weekend.
Yeah.
Don't go and jump out yourself and try to surpass your limits because you're outside again.
Your old limits will not be your new limits.
Well, watch now. Operate with some level of restraint and care for your fellow man. Because long time. And well, when I say care, I mean for you, obviously. And then your fellow man is the respect. But
hey, you come on here and communicate tone properly, please. I couldn't get that from that WhatsApp.
I didn't WhatsApp you that.
And it felt like it. You left it subject to interpretation.
No problem. I get you. But your limits of 2 years are going to limits of today.
Correct is right.
And watch, man, you might be able to sit down and consume a certain amount, but liming and consuming is something totally different.
You know, when you're home, you're watching a movie, you might mix a little drink, and by the time half of the movie done, finish your drink. But when you're batting gazoo with your partner, you're firing them.
We stressing these things because these are the real situations that we are going to face now. You may not have been around people to, have to interact close because now, as you said, Ricardo, when you started the program, the music loud. So I had to lean in a little bit more for you to hear what I had to say.
I want a mustache tickling my ears.
Watch that.
Ease them up.
Let me show the listeners, who on the viewers. Want to see how nice my beard is here? If we beards making 4, we have a problem. Watch now.
Every beard's making 4.
If I feel in the coarseness of your beard on my cheeks, something is wrong.
Yeah.
Or for the ladies, if I feel the smoothness of the skin on my cheeks, as much as I may appreciate it, you're still too close.
Yeah. If what is it when the face beat? That's what it is called. It. That's what they call it. Makeup.
No. A beat face is a beat face.
I can't even say that. I just so against
beats
GBB
and face.
But anyway, what I was saying is
that's what women say when they go to get their makeup done. They beat the face.
Yeah, I know even making bad joke and saying that. All I saying is that you know what? Foundation shouldn't touch foundation. Finish shouldn't touch finish. Right? As the man used to say, from foundation to finish, they ain't supposed to be touching at all.
Right? No, but again, these are the very real situations that we have to deal with now as these restrictions have been lifted.
You know what? That is what I went and do. I didn't go online. I went and research. That is what it is. We went and research so that we could come and share with the public what to and not do.
Well played.
Right? That's why we went and research. Right. The etiquette still remains. Use the urinal furthest away from the next from the next person.
Hey, I have a funny story to tell about that. I have a real funny story to tell about that.
The bathroom humor here
on Sunday, I went to an establishment to collect something for my grandfather.
Okay. I know, because I know you say you didn't lime now, so I'll start no wonder.
Right. So I went to collect something from my grandfather, and in the establishment, I still let me use the facilities there. There were 5, count them, 5 urinals. I entered this one.
Right. We call
the
that
other 4 were unoccupied.
Correct is right.
For the life of me, why would you walk in and see me here? I come here.
Don't do me that.
No.
I'm not advocating violence, but you can lead me to believe you're looking to incite me to a hate crime. Don't do that.
So I'm just saying, as Ricardo was saying, I had to give the example.
1, 3, and 5?
1, 3, and 5 are acceptable.
2 and 4? 1 and 4, 1 and 5?
No, I'm not going to say 2. You know how 2 and 4 will be acceptable? If I'm in 2 and you in 4.
Well, did you know what way to do 2 and 4?
Right, I was saying.
As far as I'm concerned, if it's not your partner that you went into the bathroom with at the same time, better you wait.
Right?
Better you know, 1 or 2 minutes.
We are stressing these things because these are the situations which it may seem trivial to you. But these are the real life situations which we are going to be facing as we get back to some semblance of normalcy.
The etiquette, boy. And never forget, boy, a night we was in the club this years ago. And then up in a urinal, man in the urinal next to me. Ask me the time, Say he like my watch. Boy.
It was at that moment, you knew he messed up.
It had no time to go home. Right? Yeah. 1, 3, and 5, 2 and 4.
Something else I must bring up as well. If you're going to these establishments and you see, because we'll call a spade, people may be sharing a table now.
Mm-hmm.
Because the establishments may be very frequented. And not because my ice bowl on the table mean that it's a communal ice bowl. Don't put your hand in other people's ice bowl.
You complain about that a little longer than you will admit to the listeners, because you still take a little gazoo and thing when the time comes to relax yourself. But I'm not playing that, that had trouble in it, and that's one of the reasons why I wasn't going anywhere and doing anything.
What
about if they use a cup? What about if they have a cup?
If it has a scoop, some of the places give you an ice scoop.
Yeah,
we might be able to flex with that.
Yeah.
But don't dip your hand. Again, these are the very real scenarios, and we might be making light of it. But these are the things that are going to happen as we get back out there.
Please do not sit on people's tables uninvited. Right? Even if there is seating.
Can I?
Ask a question, please.
Is anyone else?
Yeah.
Right? Are you expecting?
Because even though the seating might, these places might have 100% capacity, people might not be comfortable with other people up in the space like that. Let us try to minimize these friction opportunities, please.
No.
Listen, people mashing sneakers and shoes and thing and mashing toes when they go out and lime now, Right? Instead of being upset that somebody mashed your foot, right? Remember how much you were longing to be back out and around people. You understand? I'm not saying go out there mashing people corn, What I'm saying is try to remember
nice new sneakers.
You could afford new sneakers. Pandemic hit you at all?
Sir, when I say new sneakers, I just need your sneakers in the box since 2020. Yeah?
Oh, by the way, please.
Check your footwear.
Not just your footwear. Check your clothing and that type of thing prior to going out. You don't want to hit a little knockabout and is a half hour into your lime, the sole of your shoes come off, your heel break, your wedge dry rot, and one side higher than the next one, higher looking like a Elijah Bless hop dropping walking down the road.
I could give a better example, Make sure the jeans are fitting and there are no holes in the crotch. I heard someone went out and they were going to sit at the table and the pants ripped.
Yeah. Hey, listen, if it ripped, you might hear it, but if it had the hole there before and they didn't know.
Yeah, boy. Right?
Please do a wardrobe check.
Yeah. So we just stressing on the lighter side of things, because if we start to go too heavy into some of the things that have been happening in the country and around the world,
or not been happening as it pertains to things like commissions of inquiry.
Well, I wanted to get to that, but
sorry, I just get a little hasty.
I know. But lastly, in terms of the social interactions, guys, I don't know if things like teeth and our wine and our party and stuff like that are still applicable.
I will elbow you in your sternum. Mama. Excuse me, mama. And I'm not going through that. I'm not going through that. COVID ain't gone, you know. I'm not looking for no cold symptoms 2 and 3 days after I get a little wine.
But honestly and truthfully, guys, you know, we are just letting you know that socialization is going to resume, and these are some of the things you have to look out for.
I want to say going to, you know, it has been resumed.
Sorry, my apologies. Well, I was more looking for the weekend, huh? Okay, no, the restrictions lifted on a Monday.
But man, you know what I want to tell me? I want to tell me yesterday, Monday, that there were 9 boat rides that he know of, you know. Monday, you know.
Wow.
Anyway.
On Monday? But I shouldn't say that, because when the Prime Minister made the announcement that restrictions would be lifted on the 4th of April, no more than 10 minutes after, I received a phone call, you know, boat ride on the 10th, where you're taking the booking off. No.
And within an hour, you were seeing flyers going up for events.
Hour? Brother man, flyers were going up for events before. A certain jam was advertising long before the restrictions were advertised to be lifted.
Would.
If you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah. Good thing I don't really fancy them kind of sessions anymore, no?
So guys, we just ask and imploring that you be careful when you are making your way out, because COVID is still with us and we want you to be safe. All right?
And be mindful of other people's moods, attitudes, the new behaviors, the new expectations.
With that being said, DJ Aaron 868 will not be taking any bookings until May the 1st.
Is all that?
Yeah.
I want to read something here. But you go ahead. We're not looking for it.
All right, so now on to more serious and sometimes grieving matters in the country. Over the weekend, we would have heard of a gentleman and his wife. I don't know if to say that she was his wife still, because I know she would have filed divorce. Involved in a very unfortunate murder-suicide. I think that was done in Barrackpore.
Just as a friend and as a co-worker, I don't know if it have anything such as a fortunate murder-suicide. So next time, say
unfortunate.
No, I'm saying, yeah, but it don't have a fortunate one. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't even. Yeah, just leave that whole adjective out.
Leave the adjective out.
Just leave it out. Leave it out. Don't do it like that. People also go that tragic, this something.
All right, cool. No problem. Right? In no way, form, or fashion do we condone any form of violence here inside the living room or on the whole. So, what?
No, I believe that there are times where violence is a reasonable go-to.
But we'll discuss that at another occasion.
That's another conversation for, we could sit down and do a whole ethics session.
Yeah, right?
But I get what you're saying. We don't condone.
We don't condone it.
Particularly within a relationship. Right? Within your family, you see the domestic violence, gender-based violence. We
do, and we will not be speaking on it, because we don't have all the details,
and because of the sensitivity of
the matter. But it's a very terrible situation that took place, and we continue to implore for the persons out there who may be in abusive situations to seek help. Yeah, right. And I'm speaking specifically to the men here. If you are realizing that you are not right mentally and that things are aggravating you a little more than usual, as Ricardo said, you went from a 7 to a 7.5 or even a 7 to a 9. It's okay to seek professional help. There's no shame, men. There is no shame whatsoever to the men of Trinidad and Tobago to seek professional help?
I will lean in on that a little bit and say, because of the listeners we have all over the globe, men across the world, it's okay to seek help. I want to definitely tip my hat, hang my hat, send kudos to the number of men who have been going to therapists and engaging in conversations in group therapy, and even just in little groups and pockets that allow for a type of expression that they and brotherhood and community that they're not normally comfortable with or even were aware of. I just say that I'm seeing a shift where men are starting to take the mental health a little more seriously and treat it a little more respectfully. And because you spoke to the men, I would like to speak to the women. I would like to speak to the women. Ladies, y'all are suffering from a lack of sisterhood. One of the reasons that men and even the patriarchal system as it exists has functioned for so long is that men could work together even if they don't like each other. We could find things up under which we could align ourselves. Unfortunately, it means that a lot of bad things have been built and are sustained because of the sole fact that we see the sense in it sometimes, or at least it's not a big enough issue for us to disagree. I'm not putting the responsibility on women to save, heal, or fix the situations that they're exposed to. But what I am saying is that things like groups, have you and your group of friends discussed what is our plan if one of us ends up in a abusive situation? Do we have money put on? Is there a small business that could be started? Whose house could somebody stay by for a couple of days? Or what type of rotation we could have in terms of keeping her safe or out of the situation? What I mean is, what are y'all doing for each other until men get it together and until social and government programs could provide better protection and opportunities? What I'm asking is, how are you your sister's keeper? Right? Too many times in Trinidad and Tobago and the world at large, you've heard people say things like, "Don't get in husband and wife business." And too many times we've seen husband and wife business becoming dual funerals or group. So what I'm saying is, while we trying to figure out how to make it better, we definitely going to have to be a little more intentional about community support. So I just throwing it out there. The same way a man go pull his partner square and say, "Hey, shouldn't you get on with me?" He mightn't do it in front of everybody, and he mightn't do it in a formalized intervention, but it's still our brethren will check our brethren. Too many times I've heard stories of women responding so I have to be careful here. What I'm saying is that it is easier for a partner to pull up his partner's socks than it is for a woman to check another woman. And is one of the reasons that the relationships tend to be so, they don't last the length of time that men's relationships tend to last. Right? Sisterhood is necessary, because until people could take better care of you, you do have a responsibility to take better care of yourselves. And I don't mean as an individual, I mean as a community. Right? Simple things. You're going home from work, live share your WhatsApp location to somebody until they reach home. So if they see a car going off route, or if something happened to you, at least they have some information. They could screenshot something. They could. What I mean is, we have to take a more active community role in this thing.
I can add to that.
Please do.
Even when they say traveling, send a picture of the license plate number, or message someone the license plate number.
Yeah.
I realize some taxi drivers has even taken the initiative to post pictures of themselves along with their credentials within the vehicle. if you could get a picture of that and send it to someone, you do so as well. The thing is, we have strayed too much from the concept that it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to protect our own. So, as you are speaking to the woman, Ricardo, ladies, be your sister's keeper. When your friend send you that live location, all right, cool, I'm looking out for you.
Yeah, let me know when we could take it up a notch from let me know when you reach home. We could do a little better.
Yeah, right. So there is a lot that we can do, and as you said, this sense is operating in silos, but we need to take those silos and make them more common.
Yeah, we need a cultural shift.
Yes, right. And a cultural shift is what is needed for us to have a safe environment, because a society that fails to protect its women and children and elderly, has failed.
Even the idea, I'd love to hear the stories of women who don't know each other, who go that extra step and that extra mile. You're sitting in a taxi with another young lady and you exchange numbers and live share, or stay in contact and communication until both parties reach their destinations. When I hear of those things, I am saddened that that's what it takes, but I'm also encouraged that people go in this step extra. So where we falling short, there are people who are, leaning in and extending themselves a little bit, and I'll take that. I don't want to call it the heavy session, the heavy part of this thing, but while we are just need the matters that have a little more weight, I just want to read 8 words, 4 names: Kazim Ali, Yusuf Henry, Rishi Nagasar, and Faisal Kurban. 4 names. I don't know how far the proceedings have gone in terms of the Commission of Inquiry, but I was reading an article that was suggesting that we need to have more patience because these things do happen overnight. These are young men that left their communities and their families and a nation affected, and I'm not sleeping on it. I would like to definitely acknowledge Purple Cow for keeping the candles lit, the fire going, and being supportive in this required level of social activism and awareness, because we're not sleeping on this one. I also want to point out that we ain't really hearing no kind of feedback as to why the country was without power for the length of time that it was. I ain't hear anybody issue a report a month plus after, or 6 weeks after, however long it was, as to how, as a whole nation, we could just unplug for the day. What I'm saying is, I don't have a 9 days memory. And the only reason I didn't hear more at this kind of thing was because we took a breather. But we're back. And I'm going to make sure that I dedicate minutes out of this hour every week. And in every other platform that I'm involved in or have access to, that I'm going to continue asking uncomfortable questions and reminding people that while you may have forgotten, I haven't. And it'll encourage the other people who haven't forgotten to say something and to make other people uncomfortable. Because if we don't get some accountability for the atrocities that we've witnessed for the year so far, well, then we are equally responsible for where it goes or does not go. Anyway, a good day.
You sure?
A good day. No, I could turn it up, but we now come back on and I looking to get put off.
As I said before, in terms of the matters with the divers, due to the sensitivity of the situation and also the various hats that I wear, I will remain silent on that matter.
Noted. The only hat that I wear is this one while I record it. So I could call the names. And when the time comes and other names brought to light, I will be calling those too.
Right? But with respect to the lack of accountability and transparency which we face in Trinidad and Tobago, you all know how passionate I am about that. had to sit up straight for that.
Should sit up straight all the time.
Yeah, for proper posture.
Just showing it, and this help you breathe into.
All right, cool.
Open up the, because when you're hunched over, you actually be compressing. And so when so you actually leave a little room for the.
Maybe that's why I'm singing a career never launched, because that's be hunching all that.
That is why.
Exactly.
That is Mr. Phillip, Kenny Phillips. You know what it is now, right?
Anyhow,
he was standing and sitting.
Yes, right. So, one of the things which continues to irk me in the country of Trinidad and Tobago is our lack of accountability and transparency for persons in public office. We have seen on numerous occasions over the last 60 years of our existence that persons in public office have been devoid, have never been held accountable for anything.
They're immune to prosecution?
Thank you. And for the period of time since I've become aware of this, because I will, again, be very open. There was a period where I didn't care.
Yeah.
And I think we all would have had that period. The day I started to pay taxes is the day I started to pay careful attention to where the country's purse was being spent.
You just pay more tax and attention, yes? Anyway.
No, well, remember again, I wasn't working. So I hear budget reading and I mean care. But when I realized my $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month being paid in PYE, health surcharge and NIS, and I'm hearing that by the time I reach 60, I can't collect NIS. You know how when Claudia, there's a chance on meatballs, the security guard chest get this tingle?
Mm-hmm.
My ears start to flicker.
That's a nice movie. Yeah, you have flickering ears? Yeah.
How could you tell me that I'm contributing X amount of dollars towards a system, and by the time I reach 60, I can't benefit from the same set system? Something is wrong.
So
you for one, Ricardo, know how much I just say the NIS max not maxing.
So what
that is one.
We have a national flowers in then. A national blossom.
It blossom in.
It blossom in. That's what's going on.
And right now we're on line 62. Because by the time they reach line 100, I wouldn't get paid.
Right.
No, that'll be line 90 if my math's correct. Sorry.
No, they're gonna start a fresh circle too now, just for the people who.
Exactly. You understand? It cannot be that I live in a country with a $3.2 billion budget where 85 to 90% of that is recurrent expenditure. How do we 85 to 90%? How do we expect true growth in our country if we are spending so much money on recurrent expenditure? Earlier, I don't want to go down this road because we have just about 8 minutes left in tonight's program.
Still have 8 minutes?
Yeah, we still have 8 minutes. But we need to be very wary and pay attention and hold our persons in positions of leadership accountable. Because watch me, if we don't do it, our children will have to face the consequences. And if we don't do it, the children's children will continue to face the consequences, because the sweet land we know as Trinidad and Tobago will be no more if we don't hold them accountable.
I'll admit that when I hear things like that, I feel challenged, because it just come across as platitudes. When last you hold somebody accountable? You see, the thing is, we've always found reasons to not put a bad service business on blast. We've always found reasons not to call out a ministry for
as you're saying it now, Ricardo, let me say it, and I'll be very frank with this. There's a certain community within the San Fernando and environs that has taken the ability to sweat freely away from patrons. Yes, some of the things which the constituents the members of the community are citing are credible. But you cannot penalize everybody for the transgressions of one person.
And this is where there's a difference between us.
Now, and I'm saying this here. Yes, if the issue needs to be addressed, address the issue with the individual. Do not hold 400 people accountable for the actions of one. And if you didn't know who the person was, I could understand you holding the 400 accountable. But if you know who the person is, hold that person accountable.
So we're saying rather than banning or penalizing one person, it's easier to just change the rules so that nobody could benefit.
Exactly.
You know, I people do them kind of titty things. That is, I call it 36. You know, I do them kind of 36 things because as a culture, we only have mouth. And we don't know how to do anything. Right. We only have mouth. So you know what? We go bad talk, everything that's going wrong at work, and not once we go send an email. And when we realize the email being ignored, we will dare not break the chain of command and go over their head because we're afraid that it come back now. Listen, anyway, you know what? Better we stop here because I'm going up alienating the people who actually stick around for the whole 54 minutes so far.
It's 56 actually, but it's cool. Who's counting? Right? You know, as we resume the regularly scheduled program, which is the living room, we will continue to, as much as we can, have these kinds of conversations where we just don't hold us accountable or you accountable. We sometimes just try to rock the boat within the parameters of what we are allowed as persons on air, as on-air personalities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because again, we still have a level of professionalism to maintain.
I would take responsibility. Because you know what, the majority of I nearly go to do one of them things that would have been frowned upon within the profession that we're trying to maintain some professionalism in. Let me leave that there. Let me let you finish. Sorry for Aaron. This is me listening.
So we have that level of professionalism to maintain, but we will try our best to raise the issues which persons do tell us about. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. But we are back. That's the most important thing you'll need to know, and nothing has changed.
Yeah.
My beard is still black, Ricardo's is still grey.
Silver. And I will disagree with one thing. Aaron say nothing has changed. I ain't telling you, something changed. And no more Mr. Nice Guy.
And as we wrap up tonight's program, we remind you that the big band is up next with Mr. Desmond. Keep it locked to the True Nation station, WACK 90.1 FM. Who do you need, Phil, now?
This is yours truly, Ricardo Mitchell, the social sage on the local stage. As I say, I know if you notice, but nothing up my sleeve. I come in straight. I come in raw. What I have to say has to be said. What I have to do has to be done. I am not apologizing for making people uncomfortable, because until something changes, nothing will change. On that note, I'm going to thank you guys for tuning into the living room. I'm going to remind you guys that the hourglass is opaque and we don't know how much time remains. So whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe. Aaron?
This is your truly DJ Aaron 868. I'm always great and I am never late. I remind you that love is the currency, so spend some today. Keep it locked. Mr. Desmond is up next.